Hey, what is up, guys? It is Card Shuffler 99 here, and today we are basically going to put together DNA's mind reading trick that they did in the semifinals of Britain's Got Talent. We're going to do our best today to put the entire trick together for you guys. Feel free to let us know down in the comment section what you guys think about our reveal, and be sure to subscribe to the channel because we are going to be revealing all of the Britain's Got Talent magic tricks and all of the America's Got Talent magic tricks as well. If you didn't know, America's Got Talent is actually starting tonight, so the day that this video is posted. So we will get into AGT magic reveals as well. Now, obviously, there is no definitive proof that our reveal is going to be correct, so feel free to let us know down below what you guys think about our reveal. We're going to try our best to get as close to the actual solution as we can, so that's our goal here. But anyway, guys, let's get straight into this reveal for the DNA semifinal trick. So, if you didn't know, all of the DNA magic tricks actually revolves around a pretty old principle and a prop that is a thumper. If you don't know what a thumper is, a thumper actually sends these sort of pulses to someone, and this can be interpreted through Morse code. If you don't know what Morse code is, it's a series of, I guess you could say, pulses, short pulses, long pulses, that can actually be felt through vibration. Now, obviously, original Morse code wasn't done through, vibration. It was more done through sound, but this can be the same thing through Morse code, where they actually use a thumper to send some sort of signal to the person, revealing what it is. As you always know, one of the magicians is always going to be there doing the action, and one of them is going to be on stage the whole time. So, in case you don't know what Morse code is, here I have a little picture up for you guys that basically describes, sort of what Morse code is. Obviously, it looks pretty complicated, but you can see here the letter A can be signaled through a little beep and a longer stride of a beep. So, obviously, with Morse code, this wouldn't be done so much through sound, but more through vibration, so someone can feel it with a receiver. So the man on stage obviously has some sort of receiver where he actually feels the vibrations, and he can put together words that way. And you can see here, this entire chart, this is what Morse code is. So obviously it seems complicated, but these guys obviously had to work for a really long time to get this trick to work. So obviously it does take a lot of practice. Now, if you didn't know, DNA is a very similar act to something on AGT last year, which was the Clairvoyants. Now, the Clairvoyants actually made it to the finals of America's Got Talent last season. They were a really great act, and they did the exact same thing. They used a thumper, and they used Morse code, which is why the first time I actually saw these guys perform, I instantly knew that it was going to be a thumper, and Morse code is how they're doing it. In my personal opinion, I do think the Clairvoyants are better. Be sure to check out their performances. They're really, really good. I think they were just a little more creative with their performances, but definitely check them out. But, yeah, it is a very, very similar act, I guess you could say, to the Clairvoyants. All right, guys, so let's get straight to the reveal now. Let's talk about the dictionary part of this trick first. So this part of the trick, it's really simple to do, and it only involves a specific type of paper. Now, this paper is known as carbon paper. I believe carbon paper is used throughout art and all these different things, and it's actually a type of paper that when you write on it, if there's another piece of paper underneath of it, it'll actually leave some sort of imprint on that piece of paper. So you notice, like I said, everything happens in magic for a reason. Obviously, everything's going to happen for a reason. So they handed the judge, a pad of paper for a reason. If they didn't need, the whole pad of paper, if they weren't using this sort of imprint paper, they would have handed him just one single sheet of paper. But obviously the pad is important, okay? And obviously if they could actually read minds, they wouldn't need him to write it down. So they're having him write it down for a reason. He writes it down, it leaves an imprint on the pad, he tears it out, and the assistant is actually going to take this backstage, and he can see exactly what the guy wrote, go into the dictionary, and he finds the exact location. And the assistant is actually the person who's going to use his own thumper and deliver the exact location of the word that in the dictionary and send that to the guy on stage. So obviously, the guy on stage is going to have to remember it, but it is actually the assistant who's doing all the work for this dictionary part. And all it is just when he writes it down, it leaves a little imprint on the page underneath. So Now we can address the cards. Obviously, the dictionary part is a little more complicated than the cards. So this card part of the trick is actually, easier than you think, and it's actually the weakest part of the trick. Now, this is because there's so many different ways to do this specific card part of the trick that it really becomes useless because there's so many correct ways to do it. Now, I'm going to talk about what I think they did. I'll address a little bit of what they could have done, a different way, but there's so many ways this part could have been done. Let's just say this, it's a card force. Let's start with that. He doesn't need to force the cards in a specific order. He only needs to force 3 types of cards. So it doesn't matter what order he forces them in. Now, it does appear that he is shuffling the cards, but let's be honest, he probably isn't. You can see he's only taking off like 3 or 4 cards at a time off the top, bringing it to the bottom. See, we could very well have duplicates in there. So no matter what, the same card is going to be selected every single time, and it really doesn't matter what the order of the card selected is, as long as he has the judges select 3 of the select cards. It doesn't matter, obviously, because he is going to have the judge say which judge can take which card. So it doesn't really matter which judge gets which, because all it really takes here is for the 3 cards to get forced on the judges. Now, obviously, this could have been done in many other ways. Let's just say that. For example, he might have had only a third of the cards in the deck. So, for example, instead of having 52 cards, he only has a third of that, but he has 3 of each card. So, not just 1 duplicate, but he has 2 duplicates for every single card. And he could actually give each judge a free selection here. So, if they get a free selection, they can pick any card they want. The judge the assistant on stage is doing the same thing. He only has a third of the cards, but each of the cards has 3, duplicates, I guess you could say. So each one has a different judge's name on it. So that could have been another solution. But there's so many ways that this part of the trick could have been done. Really, all it takes is the 3 cards to get forced. And at this point, you might be wondering, how does he know which card is going to which judge? Because obviously this guy's got to communicate to his partner on stage which judge has which card. So how does he do this? And it's very simple. The only way this is done is that the cards are marked. So this means, if you don't know what mark cards are, it's basically, they sell bicycle mark cards, they sell mark cards for anything really, and you can actually make them yourself. It's just a little marking on the back of every card. It's very, very hard to catch. That actually tells you what the card is. So this means that the guy, he doesn't even need to see the face of the card to know what it is. He can just look at the back, and he knows exactly which judge is getting which card, because he just looks at the mark, gives it to the judge, and from there he could communicate to his partner who has which card. Now, the guy on stage is going to have 3 of each card. Okay, so he's going to have 3 of each card, meaning, let's say one of the cards was 2 of diamonds. He's going to have 3 2 of diamonds in his deck, and each 2 of diamonds has a different judge's name on it. So all the guy has to say is, this judge has this card, this judge has this card, this judge has this card, and all the guy has to do is go through his little pile of cards, and he just picks them out, one at a time. So obviously this is pretty hard to do, but all it really takes is just a little card force, and that's really it. Now, obviously it does take a lot of practice to do this, but there's so many different ways that this first part could have been done that it's really, it's really the weakest aspect of this trick, is that there's so many possibilities for how this part could be done. It could have been a card force. It might not have been a card force. It could have been a free selection, but at the end of the day, all the cards have to be marked no matter what. And, that's really the end of the trick. So, guys, feel free, let us know down in the comment section, what do you guys think about our reveal? Do you think that he used carbon paper, meaning when the guy writes down on the pad, it actually leaves an imprint on the piece of paper underneath, so the assistant can go backstage, basically take his own dictionary, find the exact location, and the guy backstage is basically communicating with the thumper where the word is in the dictionary. And then for the cards, that is just forcing 3 cards. Obviously, as a magician, you know how to force cards and make it seem like you're shuffling it and giving it a free choice, but you're really not. So let us know. Obviously, there's no 100% proof that this is exactly how it's done. This is honestly, in my opinion, pretty logical. I think that this is the exact way they did it. It could be wrong, But let us know what you guys think. Obviously, we do feed off of your feedback. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, and yeah, that's it. Peace out.